Well, as you can imagine, the fallout has begun. The Indiana Fever are literally taking what looks like the most valuable women's athlete asset that has come around in I don't know how many years. Certainly for women's basketball, they are taking this asset, an asset that I contend is worth more than every player in the WNBA combined.
We're breaking down the chaos, the collapse, and the uncomfortable truth that when Caitlin Clark limps, the WNBA doesn't just stumble at nosedives, grab your popcorn and your injury report, because this unraveling is uglier than a breakup via group chat news. The WNBA just pulled off the greatest disappearing act since Houdini, because the moment Caitlin Clark went down, so did the league's momentum interest gone ticket buzz stir ratings flatlined. It's like someone unplugged the entire operation when Clark iced her groin.
News that Caitlin Clark is out with a groin injury. Now, if you guys have been watching the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark play over the past 3 games, it is very clear that Caitlin Clark is not feeling like Caitlin Clark. She has only made 1 3-pointer in her last 3 games, and even just last game, she only had 6 points. But it wasn't only her performance on the court that was worrying fans, it was also just her demeanor, her energy. It felt like something was wrong. She wasn't hyping up the crowd like she normally does, and even in her pre-game routine, she was doing some things different.
The WNBA changed from being a must-watch to barely a whisper after Caitlin Clark suffered a minor injury. The league began to reverberate like a sound check in an empty gym. As soon as it was announced that she might miss time, you could practically hear the merchandise booths packing up and the PR team frantically trying to come up with a backup plan. There isn't even a glimmer of a news flash, because without Clark lighting up the court, the spotlight dims and no one else is bright enough to defy NBA.
The WNBA don't think like we think. The WNBA ain't forced to run a business because it's subsidized. The WNBA don't have to do what most regular people have to do in order to be successful. The WNBA is trying to piss us off on purpose. Guys, the WNBA wants to go back to obscurity. The WNBA is trying their best to make sure nothing changes what this league represents.
Not only did Caitlin Clark draw crowds, but she also conjured up a movement akin to a hardwood enchantress, causing venues to explode and ticket lines to form around the block as she performed turnstiles that spun like slot machines. Traffic bottlenecks and nachos go by halftime, but when she leaves, the buzz dies, the stands empty, and ushers switch from crowd control to crossword puzzles. Curry Steph.
Start with the most important question of the day. Glad y'all are here for this one. Are you worried about Caitlin Clark long term?
No, I am not. Every great athlete goes through this, particularly great athletes who are breaking barriers. And I think that Caitlin Clark is doing exactly that. And so I watched Steph Curry go through this. Okay, so it was ankle issues at the beginning of his career, raised some questions. He had to find a solution and fight his way through it. He wasn't getting beat up, but he was having physical issues.
And the fans, oh, they heard the drop-off so clearly that it could have been sponsored by a reality show. Social media became a forensic lab for viewership statistics, with fans analyzing empty seats like they were crime scene evidence. When Caitlin is on the court, the atmosphere shouts music festival, but when she isn't, it's hosting a community bingo night with lots of chairs, little noise, and a lot of regret from people who could have stayed home and streamed a cooking show instead. Caitlin Clark.
So now Caitlin Clark is banged up. She will not play again tonight. So the physicality, she's getting roughed up. The league has an off season. How do we defend her? Well, it's pretty obvious how people want to defend her. They're trapping, double teaming, getting very physical. And now she's banged up. So her first 6 games, she was Caitlin Clark. In her last 3 games, she's averaging 12 a game and shooting 27%. She is not healthy.
If you want come Caitlin Clark back, please leave a like and subscribe our channel and type CC come back in comments below. And let's talk about those ride or die fans, because the moment Clark took a break, the ride stalled, and a lot of them chose die overnight jerseys, stopped flying off the shelves, streaming numbers dipped like someone yanked the Wi-Fi cord, comment sections transformed from heated debates to ghost towns. You'd think people would rally behind the league in her absence, but no, it's Like someone unplugged the entertainment value, and suddenly the WNBA was asking people to care without the one person who made them care in the first place. Even more savage, the reactions in real time. One fan, probably still wearing their Caitlyn hoodie, recorded the arena mid-aim when she wasn't playing, and the background noise sounded like a library. During finals week, the camera panned across whole sections that were emptier than the league's marketing strategy. Without her, people weren't just disappointed, they were insulted, like they showed up to see Beyoncé and got the warm-up DJ. Instead, the WNBA had one job: protect the asset. Instead, they ran her into the ground like she was on a sprint and destroy mission. Constant back-to-backs, excessive minutes, target on her back every game, and then acted shocked when she got dinged up. That's like throwing your only iPhone into a volcano and being surprised when you can't FaceTime the impact anymore.
But it's a tough blow not only to Caitlyn, because we know that she loves to be on the court. It's a tough blow for the Indiana Fever because that is their superstar. Whether she is playing to the best of her abilities or not, they are still a better team with her on the court. And it's also a huge blow to the WNBA. Whether some fans like it or not, it was proven the last time that she was out with injury that the WNBA does better when she is on the court. The WNBA ratings across the league dropped by over 50% when Caitlyn Clark was out with injury, and this is obviously such a crucial time and a crucial year for the league because they go into CBA negotiations at the end of the year.
And the irony, while she waits, some voices attempt to pretend that this isn't a 5-alarm fire. They talk about team balance and development as if balance fills seats and that development is a more exciting product than the only player whose name even casual fans know. Meanwhile, everyone else is scrolling through their schedule apps and canceling plans. The numbers are screaming, and it's not even subtle. You'd think Clark was doing a solo tour given how ticket sales are falling. 1 minute, the venue is packed and sold out, with Clark fans holding signs and yelling at the top of their lungs. The next minute, with her sidelined, you can hear individual coughs echoing through the rafters, and then there's the merchandise game, which has been hilarious to watch. Without her, vendors are moving merchandise like it's Black Friday, and those booths might as well turn into lemonade stands. Since Caitlyn Clark doesn't simply play, she causes havoc and makes threes that spark online arguments. Her absence is particularly noticeable. The Caitlyn Clark economy is real, and as soon as she sat down, an entire ecology became ill. In a sports world already overrun with flashier, faster, and, to be honest, more competitive options, she drives the lane like she has a grudge against physics, turning ordinary games into headline material. Without her, the league would be reduced to background noise.
And I can't believe I'm coming to this conclusion. Guys, it is clear the WNBA operation itself doesn't know what it's doing. And now it's clear that the Indiana Fever does not know what it's doing. But here's the sad part, guys. This ain't on accident. This is on purpose.
However, some naive defenders continue to act as though this is a small oversight and that supporters should be thrilled about it anyhow. They're trying to rally around players whose greatest achievement is retweeting memes about Caitlyn Clark while watching teams fumble fundamentals in front of a politely bored audience. It's more than a simple downgrade. It's similar to being informed that going from gourmet to stale vending machine treats is the same thing. The league's attempt to spin the fallout is even more ridiculous now that everyone is pushing narratives about the bigger picture and team identity. The Titanic was just a cruise with a surprise ending, and people tuned in because Caitlyn Clark was redefining what watchable women's basketball looked like. They wanted fireworks, not flickering candles, and when the fireworks are gone, no one pretends the candles are good enough. Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark's absence has unintentionally revealed just how lopsided the league's appeal is. It's not parity, it's dependency. Without her, it turns out that many of those ships weren't floating. They were just fortunate to be in the splash zone.
Every great athlete you can think of coming in, if there were great expectations, there were hurdles that they had to overcome. And so I agree. I think she's had a lot on her plate. This is not Iowa. This is not Kansas anymore, Toto. This is the WNBA. This is the world. And she's got a lot on her shoulders. But I've seen every player, great player, who's had to adjust to that and accommodate it. And I have no doubt that she will do that, whether it's physical or mental.
And now with her sideline to waters gone, and everything looks smaller, quieter, less urgent like a concert after the headliner leaves and the backup guitarist cousin takes over. And then there's the funniest part of all the way other players are handling it instead of rallying. Some seem oddly relieved, like the spotlight might finally shift. Bad news, it didn't. The spotlight just turned off. No one's rushing to buy courtside seats for a gritty team effort or a scrappy defensive battle fans want. The unicorn, and when she's not there, it turns out the magic show is just a bunch of assistants pulling scarves out of sleeves. Even worse, the broadcasters are struggling to pretend it's business. As usual with Caitlyn on the court, commentary is electric. Every movement is a story. Without her, it's 2 hours of trying to sound impressed by layups. The energy drops so hard, even the microphone seems sad. And let's not forget the conspiracy theorists. Oh, they're having a field day. Some swear the league secretly wanted her out for a while, that her shadow was too long and her popularity too inconvenient. But here's the twist, even if that were true, this break only proved how desperately they need her. You can't build a house and then remove the foundation and expect it to stand. Caitlyn, the turning point.
Caitlyn, when did you guys find out about this groin injury, and how much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our strength and conditioning and our physical, our AT staff do what they do best. But yeah, I found out late last night, and then we'll treat it day to day.
Back-to-back a factor at all with that?
I mean, I don't know if it's a factor from a physical standpoint, from an athletic training standpoint. Certainly in my mind, it is. But at the same time, C's shown that she's tough and she's a quick healer. So we'll see.
Now, whether you like her or not, Caitlyn Clark is the main attraction. The one gluing eyes to screens and cheeks to arena seats. Without her, the WNBA isn't even attempting to fake relevance. Instead, it's just hoping that people don't switch the channel before halftime, because the reality is harsh and loud. Everyone is waiting for a comeback, the next highlight, and for her to stop icing her injury and start icing defenders again. When Caitlyn Clark sits, everything else falls apart. There is no bubble wrap, no special protection, not even a metaphorical helmet. For endless minutes, officials and fouls stare into space like someone unplugged their internal radar. She is pushed, slammed, and dragged across the court like it's an MMA undercard, and the representative blinks, drinks coffee, and may even whistle, but not for the halftime foul. The name.
I'm keeping it real. All right, that's the draw, that's the aura, that's the brand. She is the WNBA. I've said, I contend she ought to be, her three-point shot should have already been changed. That should be the logo of the WNBA. Of course, the old school WNBA fans, all about this many of them that existed, that makes them furious. I don't care. You keep trying to gatekeep this league all you want. I don't care. They're trying to take this asset. Stephanie White seems to be completely in over her head. Once again, Jason Whitlock said it the other day, and I pointed right at my television screen, which is over to the right of me, when I was watching Whitlock, and he said they need to hire an NBA coach like Mark Jackson.
It seems that if you're a rookie with a whole billion-dollar public relations campaign behind you, you also have to eat elbows like it's part of the training manual. The worst part is that it's no longer subtle. Instead, it's not situational or even occasional. Rather, it's systematic, almost like there's an unwritten group memo floating around locker rooms that says, if it's Caitlyn, it's fair game. Other players are fouling her like they've got coupons for extra hits. They're sending her to the floor like it's a contest. Like there's a prize for the most takedowns in a single game, and the WNBA shrugs one ankle tweak and fans start writing eulogies. But somehow the league refuses to do the most basic thing you do with your star: protect her. Eventually, you won't have a most valuable player where your best player gets smashed into the hardwood every game if you do nothing. Physicality.
She's a lot like Michael Jordan as the physicality of the league. And basketball has always been this way. If you can't figure out how to stop somebody, Steph Curry faced some of this. In basketball, the answer is always get physical with them. Make them uncomfortable. Rick Pitino was on yesterday and talked about Caitlyn Clark.
She's a great passer. She reminds me of Steph Curry when Steph Curry came into the league. She's doing what Steph did early on. She has unbelievable range. She has great vision. She's a terrific passer. You know, she's physically a little weak, but she'll get stronger as time goes on. But she really understands how to play, and she reminds me of the female version of Steph Curry. Incredible range.
And once she's out, good luck explaining to fans why they just paid to watch a scrappy defensive matchup between two teams averaging 42 points a game. Spoiler, no one wants that. They want the fire, the flare, the flash. They want the Caitlin Clark experience. And every hit she takes uncalled is a direct hit to the league's wallet and credibility. But no, instead of tailoring the rules to protect the league's hottest asset, the WNBA is acting like she's just another name on the roster, like she's lucky to be here, as if she didn't just resurrect interest in a product that was drifting dangerously close to the forgotten sports aisle next to lacrosse and televised darts. And it's not just bad strategy, it's outright sabotage. Every time she steps on the court, the WNBA trends. Every time she scores, Twitter erupts. When she speaks, ESPN listens. And yet the officials are swallowing their whistles like it's a competition, because this isn't about favoritism, it's about reality. Every major league protects its stars. The NFL has so strict quarterback regulations that you would believe they were protecting state secrets. The NBA calls enough fouls on its best players